Welcome back, loves. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm recording from a different space, so hopefully it's not too echoey. We're trying some new things here. But today I really wanted to talk about worth and value and how that affects how we show up in relationships, how we may overfunction, and of course, where does that come from? So this has been sitting with me for a long time. And I was trying to figure out, how do I want to bring this up in this space? So a lot of the work that I do is around like relationships, getting out of toxic relationships, getting out of that like cycle of whether you're chasing after someone, been in a situationship for years, not sure how to get out, things like that, and talking about what happens. So a lot of my clients struggle around the same kind of thing. It's this idea, if I could just do more, or if only people could see how valuable I am, they would want to keep me. Right? I'll do anything to make them stay. And when I hear my clients talk about this, I always feel like a tenderness, right? Because one, I get it. I know that feeling. I I manage against that feeling all the time, because it's so easy just be like, oh, well, they don't like me, or they don't want to commit to me, or they don't want to see me on the weekends, or, they don't want to plan dates with me, whatever. We immediately go to, what can I be doing more of? So they'll see how important I am. They'll see how awesome I am. They'll see how much I can add to their life, right? Which speaks to, if only they saw how valuable I am. If only they saw how, like, you'll never have to cook breakfast another day in your life. If only they could see how much I'd want to fawn over them and put out sex, every night or whatever. Like, it's so many things that come up. And I just want to like take a moment to talk about that, and that I see you. I'm with you in that. And again, a lot of this stuff comes from our childhood, our caretakers that were not giving us the emotional nurturance, the emotional safety, stability, all of that. And so over time, when we're in these relationships, we are constantly feeling like we need to perform. We are constantly feeling like we are being evaluated. We are constantly thinking, is this going to be the moment when he chooses me? Maybe if I'm funnier, or me, back in younger years, I'm sure I do something different now, but younger years for sure, it was like, oh, you're into sports? Yeah, I love football too. And try to learn things about football. Nowadays, it might be, let me try to think. I think nowadays, if I don't know something about the subject, I'll just say it. I'll still try to show interest to see if we can connect on that or whatever. But I'm not going in like lying about something that I actually do not care that much about. Like, will I go to a football game? Absolutely. But if I'm gonna be here talking to you for an hour about football and plays and touchdowns and passes and first down and whatever, no. If I don't know, I don't know. But the idea behind it is like, I'm going to constantly show you the reasons that you will never want to leave me. Because there's also that codependency, that fear, that control comes up, that this person cannot leave me. So now, instead of me evaluating them, seeing if I want to connect with them, I'm actually thinking about, how can I make sure they stay? Do I need to be skinnier? Do I need to be bigger? Do I need to have longer hair, shorter hair? Do I need to talk a certain way? Do I need to change the inflection of my voice? Right? Do I need to make my voice raspier? Do I need to make my voice a little bit more preppy and upbeat? Do I never need to show a day where I'm feeling depressed and down and sad? Right? Maybe they only want happiness, right? Because I don't know about you. For me, growing up, it's like men want their women to be their peace. Like, they want to come home and they want them to be their peace. Actually, I had a guy tell me that, was it last year or 2 years ago, Like I just want you to be my peace. Something like that. And at first I was like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, I get that. Yeah, I want that too. And then what happens when you're constantly fighting against people pleasing and codependency, and your worth is attached to people staying and all that, you start to think, oh, I can only be positive. I can only show up happy because I'm their peace. Because let's really break it down. If you are someone's peace, that is your role in their life. If you are someone's peace, that means peace must always be happy and can take all the things in and just hold it and sit with it, and it's good and it feels safe and we're rocking it out, right? I told you guys about my shoulder straps. If you're watching the video, I told you some of my shoulder straps don't like to stay on. So you're going to see me keep pulling them up because I'm not trying to like turn this into a different kind of video. Okay. Um, yeah. Like think about it. Like if you are the peace is not supposed to be anything but uplifting. And so what if you're having a bad day? What if you're stressed? What if you're having your own relationship strifes with friends, family, work, whoever, children, if you have them? I'm supposed to be your peace. And so I had to really sit with that and kind of dig into that. And I remember asking him, like, what does that mean, your peace? Well, I just want to, come home and I don't want to have like we weren't living together. This was just like an example. But come home and, I see you and I feel relaxed seeing you. And so I had to ask him, like, okay, so does that mean if I have a bad day, like what happens to that peace? We were able to talk through and he was able to say like, oh no, I meant like just knowing that we are in this together. So you don't have to always be happy. But it got him thinking and got me thinking. And so I just really want to keep encouraging us to when we're in that space of like I'll do anything to make them stay, what are we really saying? Are we saying I'm gonna give up pieces of myself to make you stay? Are we saying that no matter what my wants and needs are, if my wants and needs impede with what you need, then I'll just push my wants and needs to the side, which a lot of us are really good at, right? I heard a TikToker, I don't have her name in front of me. Hopefully I can find it and I put it in the show notes. But she said, because I love you, I ignored my own needs. And I just think that's what a lot of us do. Because I love you, because I care, because I like you, because I lust after you, because I love your dick, whatever, I'm going to ignore my needs and my wants because my overall desire is to be partnered. And so if being partnered with you means not getting my needs met, meaning no Friday night dates because, something can always happen in your world, or no like non-sexual touch, maybe all the touches he gives you was like sexual and means like time for sex, then I'm going to ignore my needs because I want you to stay. And it's like, is it worth it? Like, is that worth it? Like, is that piece of it, is it worth pushing your needs to the side in order for him to stay? I'd much rather want you to have both, right? Like, yeah, you want them to stay, you're enjoying the relationship, and you're still showing up as you, right? So me, as you can see, even right now, makeup is not my thing that I do every day. If I remember, if I gave myself enough time, then yeah, I'm gonna put on mascara, I'm gonna put on some eyebrows. My eyebrows have always just been super thin. And so I used to think I had to always have on makeup to keep people around. I don't want to live in that world anymore. I don't want to be that girl that wakes up before her husband and puts on a full face. And you've never seen me without makeup, right? I want to be able to show up without makeup sometimes, and other days I have makeup on, or maybe other days I do extension lashes again, right? Like I want to be able to show up as me so I can experience me on a daily basis as much as possible. And I want him to be able to experience me. And me showing up in this space as me, who I really am, is not the threat that makes them leave. If anything, it connects them and makes them want to stay. If anything, has them more interest in me, right? I'm not hiding who I am. And if that person does leave based on you showing up for yourself and you going after your needs and wants and you requesting like your needs and wants being met by this person, and they're like, no thanks, I'm out of here, then that person was not the person. That person was not the person. That person is saying, okay, I hear that. I'm not able to meet that need. And so it's not gonna work for me. Does it sting? Yes. Does it hurt? Yes. It's disappointing? Yes. Then I want you to remember, oh, okay, well, what are my alternatives, right? I can push my needs away. And so then they can get what they need, and I'll just be able to get the luxury, if you want to call it that, of posting my plus one on Instagram. There's another option where it's like, okay, I have this need. Maybe I want someone to say that they love me, right? That's really important. I have that need for them to say that they love me, and they're not able to do that. So okay, yeah, we don't want the same thing. We don't want the same thing. Doesn't mean I'm not worth it. Doesn't mean I'm not good enough, loving enough, sexy enough, cute enough, whatever. Doesn't mean any of that. It just means that we don't want the same thing. And that's okay. And so maybe you're thinking like, well, I guess I don't really know what I want then. Then perfect. Perfect. Think about what you want. I feel like I say this all the time because that's how important it is to me. What do you want? What do you need? So let's go after that. Let's make that happen. Right? What do you want? What do you need? I don't want you to feel like I need to always be doing the things to make them stay. That is such an anxiety provoked, depression filled way of living. And I know that life because that was my life. And again, constantly to this day, fighting against that, right? When I notice it coming up, oh, well, maybe if I told a joke or maybe if I was funnier or whatever, maybe I do this, I still do this a lot. Like, oh, well, I'm having a really hard day today. Maybe I just won't talk to anybody because I don't want anybody to think like, oh my gosh, every time I talk to Nantea, she's always so sad. Like, no, no. I want us to really think about our needs, which is a different concept because we're really good at thinking about the needs of others. But again, it's not a way to live if we're constantly basically adjusting ourselves, right? If I do it like this, will they stay? If I do it like that, will they stay? We got this really bad argument and I really didn't like the way he was talking to me, which I did all the time. And I just, took my sadness, cried in the corner, texted my friend about it, or didn't tell anybody about it because I was too embarrassed. And I'm just going to stuff it down because I don't want him to leave. It's like, you don't want the source of your sadness to leave? What? Right? Because a lot of times we're in that mindset, it's not worth it. I'd rather much have someone here than be happy, basically. Right? Like, there's not a lot of happiness when we're constantly trying to do the things that make people stay. There's no happiness within us. We're just overworking ourselves to make sure the person stays and that they're happy. But our happiness is not really, how do I say this? Our happiness is not really I guess long term, maybe. I'm trying to something deeper than that, like foundational, right? Like what makes you happy? What makes you happy is my guess. What makes you happy is that love is reciprocated from the other person. That person is also telling you how much they enjoy the relationship and they're so happy that, you two have connected and all the things that they enjoy about the alignment of the relationship, not them threatening that this relationship's not going to work because you always, I'm trying to think of something because you always complain when we go out or I can't think of anything right now, but just something where it's more about threats as to like, well, if you don't change this, I'm gonna go, or we're not having enough sex, and sometimes I just wonder like maybe we're not sexually compatible, but not thinking about the fact that maybe you're just having a really hard time at work this week and the last thing you're thinking about is pleasing him and sexually. And so you just need some emotional support, but they're unable to do that. And so they make you feel like you're the problem, that the relationship is so hard because you need so much emotional caretaking this week, So things like that. Okay. I feel like I can go on and on about this. I'm going to pause this here. I think you got the message. If you didn't, if you still want to talk more about this, or you want me to do another episode about this, or you want to send a question in, send the question, and we love to hear your questions. And I believe in you. You got this. We're going to start shifting around, like, I'll do anything to make them stay. I just want them to know how valuable I am. You are valuable, baby girl. Like, you are valuable. The thing is, we are attaching ourselves to people who do not value what we are giving, who maybe not value themselves, right? I don't want you chasing and trying to keep them. Mm-mm. I think you'd be surprised if you shifted it around sooner and you're like I said before, like, I'm the prize. This is what I want. Can you match that? And you kind of just leave it there. I think you'd be surprised how people show up. And they'll be looking to you like, oh, you're so awesome. Please don't leave me. Right? Have you ever been in that situation before where they're like, please don't leave me? Just a thought, just a question. Okay. Please subscribe, leave reviews. It'd be great to help the show. Until next time, bye.